All right. Hello. Welcome in, everybody.
Hey, we're
By the time you
here.
see this, it'll be top of the hour. So great. And get started. I mean, we want to keep this tight, so we'll just go ahead and start up.
Yeah, so I love that, Jamie, and thank you for that word tight is for those of you who've been hanging around and kind of watching us, we do this live, and this is an opportunity for us to kind of share some ideas with you in about 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I look at this from a couple different perspectives, and I'd love Jamie's perspective on this too. I know we've discussed it, but I'm sure there's some subtle things that her. But from a personal perspective, to me, this is an opportunity for you to get to know us, for us to share hopefully some valuable insights into our experience, for us to this is our way of, we call it playing in the sandbox, of contributing to the community of coaching. And instead of us thinking of I have a philosophy around competition. I don't believe in it. I think it's a myth. The only competition we really have is the competition that goes on between our ears and with ourselves and the internal struggles we have. So, what we're trying to model here is the idea of breaking that down, and that's why we invite guests on to join us in these discussions. They're spontaneous. Yeah, we pick a topic, but that's about it. We don't script it. So you're getting the raw material, and we really hope that's helpful. And we'd love your feedback. If you're watching this at a later date or you're joining us now, we'd love for you to just pop in the chat and let us know if you're getting value from this and what kind of topics you want to talk about. But that's kind of a little bit of background on how I look at this. Jamie, what are your kind of thoughts around why we do this?
Yeah, I think it's we talk about the word consistency, and so we're practicing what we preach. It's being consistent, being consistently visible.
Yeah.
There's another term that we use that our coach has imparted on us, which is omnipresence.
Yep.
Right. So we want to be recognized, I guess, not as a thought leader per se, not like, tooting our own horn or anything like that, but like just putting ourselves out there, being comfortable in this space. It took me a long time to get comfortable being on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very comfortable with it now. And it's like, well, there could be 2 people watching, there could be 100 people watching. We know that and also the replays of this go on and on and on. So whenever I look at our stats, I'm like, wow, there's hundreds of people who are watching these videos, which is great. So we know that not everybody could catch it live. But yeah, as Mark said, if you have requests for topics, let us know. We do have a list of topics that we kind of work off of. But also, if you have any questions, like something came up for you in watching one of these, we do monitor all of the comments. So be happy to give you our best answer at that.
Yeah.
That's kind of why we do this.
I love this, and it's a really good segue into the topic that we chose for today. I'm reading one of Seth Godin's books again. I love Seth Godin. I'm a big fan. If you're not, I really encourage you to start reading him. But this idea of the world has changed, and we've talked about this for years, and this is before I even discovered Seth Godin, is the idea of the internet changed the way we function and changed the world of marketing. And Seth Godin talks about the idea that marketing morphed into advertising. It was the quick, easy, fast way to push your products on people. So we call that push marketing, pushing yourself on people. But there's a new world that we live in, and that's a world where people are tired of the bullshit. They're tired of being pushed on. We're all wise to it. We hate the crap. Why do we subscribe to streaming services? And why do we all get pissed off now that they're all adding ads back in? Because we don't want to be advertised to. We want to make choices. We're smart. We've evolved. We're more intelligent. And the internet has helped us with that. So we're able to seek out knowledge and information. So there's too much information, in fact. So now what we crave is relationship, right? So we want to go, okay, help me because I'm overwhelmed with too much information. Help me know what's the right information for me in this moment in time. And that's what this is all about. This is not another tactic. I hate that crap. I hate that 99.9% of what you see, and unfortunately LinkedIn is getting pounded with this too. It used to be more of a Facebook thing, which is just a cesspool. Not that we don't hang out there, we have to, because the people are there, and you may be seeing us on Facebook. But the idea of 99.9% of the stuff we see is crap. It's still the old school push marketing. Let me trick you. Let me use a gimmick. Let me use something to bring you in. And let me segue that into today's topic, which is this idea of DIY. And it's really, we call it the DIY delusion. And it really is, we say it's the hardest way to get what you want. I would suggest it's the way to never get what you want. It's the impossible dream, because whoever created anything in isolation? Even if we go back to the greatest creators in time, if we look at Edison or Einstein or any of them, none of them worked in isolation. Mm-hmm. And I include in that even pulling in universal consciousness and understanding what's coming in and what's flowing to you at different energy levels, as the fact that you're not isolated. So the idea of DIY really is another myth. It's kind of like competition. You think that doing it all yourself is going to save you money, right? But in the end, it ends up costing you. And in many cases, it costs you your life. It costs you your self-esteem. It costs you your self-confidence. It costs you all of your time and your energy and your momentum. And these are things you can't buy back, because having freedom isn't a DIY job, right? Having freedom means having the ability to accept support. It means the ability to recognize that I don't know what I don't know, so I'm willing to step outside of myself. So even the idea of house building, or doing something at home, everybody, DIY, Home Depot and everything. I'm a DIYer. Bullshit. You're not a DIYer. You go to Home Depot and you ask for advice, right? Yeah. You don't just get online and order everything and assume. You go and you do the workshops, which are marvelous, right? Like how to tile, how to nail studs, how to put things in, what tools do I need? All of these things prove that nothing is done in isolation. Obviously, I'm very passionate about this topic, and I could go on and on, but I see Jamie nodding, and I don't want to dominate all the airspace here.
Well, I think people, a lot of times they feel like it's safe not to ask for help. They're fearing, maybe they're fearing being judged. Maybe they feel like, well, I'm smart. I've got certifications. I've got a master's degree in a lot of cases. I should know how to do this stuff. Yeah. And I always say, you didn't become a coach to become a marketing expert. Yes. That is not what you were put on the planet to do. That is not what you signed up to do. And yet it's a necessary kind of evil, for lack of a better word. It's like, it's got to get done. The stuff has to get done as far as marketing yourself. And you're not intended to know how to do that stuff. That stuff is a learned skill. And I'm sure you don't want to get a certification in marketing and social media and all that stuff, right? Yeah. Instagram, like all of that stuff. That's not what you're designed to do. And it's okay to get support, get some accountability too, and to know what those things are. What are the steps that I should be taking to get my business to become successful? Yes. It's not an automatic thing. I know the certification companies, they don't teach that stuff. I've never been certified, but I do know from all the coaches, many thousands of coaches that I've spoken with who say, I spent a lot of money and time, and I'm glad I got certified. Like I now have some, letters next to my name, additional letters, whatever. But they don't teach you how to build a business, and that's what's missing. So if you think DIYing is you're gonna just figure it out because you're smart, good for you. You're smart. That's great. But there's no shame in saying, I got to throw my hands up and go, I just want to coach. Can somebody just help me so I can just get to the coaching, the fun part, the collecting the money, the, working with clients thing.
Yeah. I love that, Jimmy. And then, and the being a change maker, actually helping and supporting people. And I would suggest, like, based on what you said, Jamie, too, is that there's so many things in there that we could unpack. But this idea of if you want to be a Facebook ads expert, right? And you think, and that, by the way, lots of courses, go on Facebook. You'll be barraged, and just search for it. You'll be barraged with 1,000 different programs that are going to teach you the trick and the secret sauce on how to be great at Facebook. If that's what you want to do it. Build a business around being an expert at Facebook ads, and then do ads for other people. Yeah. One of the things we talk about is it's an old maxim from, oh boy, isn't this terrible? I'm forgetting his name now. This is awful. He's, I think it was Harvard or Yale or running, like, management guru, and he's dead now, but he talked about, it'll come back to me. Everybody knows it, but the idea of do what you do best and outsource the rest. And he
Peter
was saying
Drucker.
this,
Peter Drucker.
Peter Drucker, thank you. He was saying this back long before the internet.
Mhm.
And it wasn't a matter of, oh, you know, I've got to go hire these outsourcers. They're now online, of course. But the underlying principle there is this idea of seek out what you do best, what you're passionate about, what you really, really are put here to do, how you're here to serve, how you're here to help others. And that's the secret sauce. That's the bottom line to the whole thing. So, you know, we talk about the idea, and we're doing it right now in our MAP workshop, which is running right now. We're going to start day 3 today. We run it about every month to 6 weeks or so, but and it's free, and it's all about what we're talking about today and more. But we talk about the idea of figuring out what you need to figure out, what needs to be done, what I want, what needs to be done in order to get it. And then where does everybody skip? Where's the next natural step that people go to? What's that word, Jamie?
Call to action, you mean? Or
no, it's the, I'll give it to you. It's the how. People automatically go, well, now I've got what needs to be done. How do I do it?
Yeah.
And that is the problem. So I want to, if there's any learning from this little talk that you get at all, get that out of your head, because that's not the question you should be asking. The question you need to be asking is, who is best at doing this?
But it also is very important that they know that what, again, like they have, like so many coaches and et cetera. I know the ones that we work with, they don't really know what they should do. They're like, well, I have a website, I have a LinkedIn profile. People should just be showing up on my calendar, and they're wondering why that's not happening. So there's a disconnect between what needs to get done, not even knowing what that is. So then how do you get a who if you don't even know what that is? So, right. So like what we teach in our program, not in our workshop, is really like, what is the what needs to get done, the exact steps of what needs to get done.
Yeah. And I can say, and I think you can validate this for me, Jamie, is that every single coach that we've worked with, every single coach that we've spoken with, which is now in the thousands, not one of them has taken the time to identify the what. And there's a what before the what that we always start with. And we do touch on this in 5 days, is the, what do I want? Because if you start to ask that question, then all of a sudden you start to realize, well, what do I want? I don't want to be a Facebook ads expert. Yeah. So then why are you figuring out how to be a Facebook ads expert? You're designing a life that you hate. Yeah. And this is one of those challenges with the DIY. And by the way, I got to share a slide with you, if I can here. Let me figure out how to do this on StreamYard. I always forget.
I'm just going to kind of share a little anecdote. We have clients who've, well, we've had coaches that join our workshop that we're talking about, right? And then after the 5 days, they're like, oh, okay, I've learned a few little tips here. So I think I've got it now. I can go DIY what you've the concept that you've shared with me. I'm going to go and figure that out now. Yes. And I'm going to DIY it myself. And I can tell you from years of working with clients and years of doing our workshop too, is that they come back to us like a year or 2 years later and go, well, I have just been spending all my time spinning my wheels, really trying to figure all this out by myself, reinventing the wheel. I've wasted all this time, money, and energy. Yes. And I'm ready now. I throw my hands up in the air. I'm ready to invest in working with you guys and get this all clearly. And they get it like within the first month. They're like, oh, I should have done this a long time ago. That's usually the feedback that we get. Yes. So that DIY thing is just, we want to save people and go, don't try this. I mean, it's good. You got some tips during our workshop. That's great. It is not the how. Yes. It's the what, but it's not the how. And so trying to DIY that is not a wise thing. We just know that. I hate to say
I'm going to see if this works here, Jamie. I'm going to see if see if this works.
You might
this
have to.
Is what I felt compelled to share. Mm-hmm. So this is from the the online marketing manifesto, internet marketing manifesto that was written by Rich Schefren many years ago now. And this one blew my mind when I saw this in his book. And this is what DIY looks like. And this is the challenge, is because underneath each of these, and this is definitely not an inclusive list, and it's old really because it's probably 20 years ago. Some of these things have shifted and changed. But underneath each one of these boxes is another 5 to 10 boxes. And this was such an aha moment for me, is that when I saw this, when Rich shared this, and in his report, I saw him do this in his workshop as well. And actually, Rich is one of my coaches, is that I went, wow, me trying to figure everything out is just going to result in overwhelm and burnout. Not only does it end up, not only can I never do this in a lifetime, but two, I don't want to. That's not what I signed up for. I signed up to help people, to be a coach. And that's what it's all about. Sorry, let me stop my share. I got to figure out how to do that now.
Well, and also, like, in looking at that picture, and I know you show it in the workshop, and I always think to myself, that's great. I love that we can kind of overwhelm people with that picture. But the truth is that a lot of that stuff, a good majority of it, if I'm being honest, people don't even need. Like, they think they need that stuff. Like, I need this, all that pink. I need all of that. And you don't. Really. You don't need most of it, but you have to know that you don't know that.
And you're getting bombarded every day, particularly on Facebook and now on LinkedIn, with all of those boxes and more of people convincing you that you do need it.
Yes.
So you're stacking up all of these DIY projects, and then you got to wake up one day and you go, I've got a stack of DIY projects. I don't want to know how to do any of them. So your subconscious is pulling at you anyways. Call that cognitive dissonance. So you've got this stack building up. So you've done a shitty job of any of them. You probably haven't completed any of them. You haven't applied any of them. And you think you're going to build a business and you're going to get results based on something that you haven't completed, you're not good at, you don't want to do, and that isn't even working for you. And then you get disillusioned and you say, well, this whole internet marketing thing is a scam. Coaching is a scam. It doesn't work. No, it's just a matter of your mind not accepting the fact that you need to look for what you don't know, and that doing all of these things is not going to get you where you want to be. And that's the threat and the challenge of overcoming this concept of DIY and realizing that you've been sold a bill of goods. It's the old school advertising marketing shtick that sold you into the idea of DIY. Oh yeah, you can do your own bathroom yourself. Mm-hmm. Well, by the time you finish DIYing it, it's probably a pretty crappy bathroom. Right? Why? Because you're a computer engineer, a software engineer, or you're a car salesman, and you think you can create, a beautiful, masterful bathroom that you see on HGTV. No, you've been sold a bill of goods. Yeah. And then what do we got? We got HGTV programs and guys that come in and fix the crappy DIY projects. Right? It's an endless cycle.
It's like botched for your business. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. DIY. Well, there's one on HGTV. My wife's an addict, by the way. Mm-hmm. Confession.
My mother is, yeah.
There's a show there called DIY Disasters. Oh. and are they all disasters? And again, it's that myth, right? That idea.
Disasters, but maybe they're like, if you're trying to be a coach, you're probably avoiding doing all the things that you don't want to be doing. So you're not even getting it done. And so then they default to I've been told I need to post content. So that's the other thing is I see a lot of coaches, when I look at their profiles, I see, okay, they're posting. That's good. They're posting. That's important. But who are they posting to? They have no followers. They're not building those relationships that's really going to do it. So it's that many of them are just avoiding doing the things that they know they probably should be doing, but not having a clear strategy and not having a partner or some accountability built in, and like knowing and having somebody take you by the hand and going, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
This is the action you need to be taking this week. And then this is the action that builds on that action. And then this is what's going to get them onto your calendar. Like all of these things. And you've got to think all that through. And if you don't know those things, then there's nowhere for you. There's no knowledge base that you could tap into to get that unless you get the support, unless you work with people or a person who knows what they're doing and can literally take you by the hand and do it. I had to go through that myself. I mean, that's why we've gotten to this place in our business, is the learning. well, I tried that. We've been at this for a very long time. I've been at this for 16 plus years at this point. And I have found success, right? A long time ago. So now it's like, okay, let me now teach this to other people. I was learning how to build a business. I had no idea that I would actually be coaching people on how to build a business now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it never ends,
People
because
who
it's
know.
that perpetual journey that never ends.
Yeah.
And to embrace that and to realize that it's that perpetual journey. And another, I'm going to bring up another W word. So there's the what, and then ask who. Who is best, suited to do this? Who can get me the best results? Who can get me this done in the fastest way possible so that I can get the outcome that I want? So we've got that the W happening, and then the next W I want to throw out there, based on what you just said, Jamie, it came to mind here, is the when, because quite often it's just things in the wrong order.
Yes.
So we see, often we'll talk to, a coach who's struggling and losing money, but putting on the good front, pounding out the content, doing what they need to do. And we'll say, well, what's going on? Tell us about your business. They say, well, the first thing I did was hire a VA. Oh, great. What's the VA doing for you? I don't know. When I hired them, they asked me what I wanted them to do. I didn't really know. So I said, figure it out, do some stuff. And then I realized I was paying them every week and they weren't doing anything. So then I saw this thing on Facebook where this, pimply faced 17-year-old was sitting on a yacht in Thailand and said, you can make $1 million by next weekend if you buy my $99 course on how to make content, and content will, beat a pathway to your door, and you'll sell. I don't know what you'll sell because you haven't figured out what you're going to sell, but that's okay. Just buy my course. So I bought the course, looked at it briefly, did a crappy job of looking at it because I'm really not interested in this, but I turned it over to my VA and I said, hey, VA, now I got a job for you. Now at least I can pay you to do something. Crank out a whole bunch of content, right? From my perspective, it's litter. You're throwing garbage onto the internet. You're littering the world. But I got my VA busy, right? Got my VA busy. So is there a place for VAs? Of course there is, right? There is. But it's not now when you're starting out. It's down the road. And maybe there's never a place for a VA in the way that you design your business. So you have to figure out when are the appropriate things to do things. Or we've also had people say, well, I spent $5,000 on Facebook ads. It didn't work for me. Ads don't work. Okay, let's look at the history of business and the history of the world and say, yeah, advertising doesn't work. Nobody's ever made a dime by advertising. Duh. It's because you did it in the wrong order. You didn't know what you were advertising. You didn't know how to advertise. So you're not an expert at it. That's okay. You don't know what you don't know. But there are people out there that are really good at it.
Yeah.
And knowing when it's appropriate to do it. And that's one of the things that we talk about is, often we'll be talking with a coach who's struggling. We'll find out they have been advertising, and then we'll have a VA and we'll say, okay, can you lay off the VA, at least for a period of time, and say, sorry, I'm not going to pay you anymore, and stop the bloody ads. Stop the bleed. And let's get back to the basics. Stop trying to DIY all this stuff.
The other thing also, when you're hiring, a lot of times I hear about I hired a lead generation company, and I'll give you a quick little anecdote here. So I talked to, I might've told this story recently, but I just feel this need to say it. It's like, I'm paying this lead generation company and I've been paying them for a year. This person told me. And I said, well, that's great. I go, well, how's that resulted for you? Well, I don't have any clients. I wasted my money. I'm really mad at that company. And I, would normally go, yeah, that's terrible. They took advantage of you. But actually I was like, well, let me ask you a few questions. I'm like, well, who's your audience? Well, I help very broad audience, men, I help women, whatever that is. And I'm like, so it's really not their fault. It's really not. You're just not clear. You don't have that clarity piece so that the people that you are hiring can do their job effectively. So I had him really turn his thinking around on it, that, yeah, it was kind of in his court. Yeah, he lost a lot of money, but, you chose to pay them. But You're paying people to do what only they can do with the information that you give them.
Yeah.
If you're not giving them good data, they can't act on good data.
Yeah.
So those of you who are, sorry, Kitty, those of you who are, hiring lead gen companies and this and that and paying a lot of money for that, if it's not working, it's because you don't have that clarity that needs to happen for your marketing to make sense. So think about that. We all have blind spots, and we may not know that. You may think your audience is like super narrow and you've got this, ideal client avatar. We call it a minimum viable audience, but chances are you probably don't, and you probably don't have your offer aligned, or there's something that is not clear. That is no matter what you do, the content you're putting out there isn't going to make sense. Nothing's going to make sense. So
yes, that's beautiful. And that idea, of getting things in a row. And the other thing, like that example that you just shared of that fellow, is really important too, is also pausing for a minute. And you just said it, Jamie, and I'm going to put some different words to it, and take responsibility for it.
Yeah.
So what everybody does, they want to blame. They want to say, oh, it's the lead gen company, it's the VA, they all suck. No, you need to come back and go, I am responsible for my own business. And to say, so if it didn't work, pause it, stop it, and then come back and analyze it, right? Think about, why didn't it work? What could I have done differently so that it would work better? And sometimes we make the wrong choices. Sometimes because we haven't got that figured out. And like you said, Jamie, we haven't got that what figured out and the who figured out, that we end up hiring the wrong people at the wrong time. So again, you're responsible for that, but you don't need to feel guilty or bad about it. There's no room for that in being successful. The only space is to just go, take a breath and go, okay, remove the judgment from that and say, it didn't work. Now examine why it didn't work. There's another W for you, another W word. Why didn't it work? What could I have done differently? Who could do it better? When does it need to be done? Maybe I did it in the wrong timing or the wrong space. These are all questions that we need to discuss. And by the way, you can't do it in isolation. You can have lovely little fantasy conversations with yourself. Yeah. But if you ask these questions of yourself and only yourself, you're just going to end up looping and going in circles. And that's the beauty of, good place for us to kind of come close to wrapping up here. But that is why coaching works. That's why Jamie and I are so passionate about this. This isn't a let's coach and make money. This is the world needs coaches. The world needs to see, if you're going to grow, you need to see your blind spots. You need to know what you don't know in order to grow as an individual, as a human being, and as a professional coach, a professional, whatever you happen to be. And if we don't make that realization that we can't DIY ourselves into growth, then we're going to either grow very, very slowly at a snail's pace, or we're not going to grow at all. So I think this is the validation of our industry, if you will. And this is our community give, is that what we do is invaluable in terms of serving the world, because it's helping, even if it's putting up a mirror for somebody, it's helping them see what they don't see. It's helping them discover what they don't know. And that's what coaching is all about. And that's why people thrive. By the way, you want to try and prove me wrong here, do a little research yourself on the top people in the world that you know of in your circle of influence, the leaders in the world. Maybe look at, the top leaders in Google or Facebook or whatever. Do a little research to find out if any of them work with or have worked with a coach. And you might be startled to find that almost all of them, not only do they work with a coach right now, they've worked with multiple coaches throughout their career. Because why? Because they're professionals. Are you a professional is the question. Is that the first thing, right? Your first question of what do I want? Ask yourself that question. Do I want to be a professional? Start there. And then start acting like a professional. What does the professional do? So Hopefully,
And
we're too
one
heavy
more thing
today.
before we close is
I'm
that,
passionate about this stuff. I love it. Yeah.
as Mark always says, don't go looking to the internet, because the internet is filled with people selling programs for problems that you don't even have. But you'll make yourself a problem because somebody says, okay, if you're not making a ton of money, then you need my course, my program, whatever. But don't do that. Like, figure out what your problem is and then go search for a solution to that. Not right.
Exactly. Yeah. Be cautious of that, because it's very easy to get seduced into that, thinking, oh, I never even thought about that. I don't have that problem. I never even thought I had that problem. But this brilliant marketer on Facebook just convinced me that maybe I do have that problem, even though I don't have that problem. But maybe I will have that problem one day. So I better buy his course.
Yeah.
I better follow his lead. And that's not a way to build your business.
Yeah.
Powerful stuff. We could go on and on and on. Play in the sandbox with us. Challenge us, whatever. But please participate in the conversation. This is the way we all grow as individuals and as professionals and as professional coaches and entrepreneurs. So, and we need to take a moment, a shameless plug. And really, in many ways, this is not a shameless plug for something that we even charge for. This is a gift. We look at this as a gift. Is our 5-day MAP workshop, which this is just one piece of what we talk about in that workshop. And we do it, like I said, every now and then, every month, every 6 weeks or so. It's free. It's free. And it's our give back to the community, because we want to see our community continue to rise, and we want to see less of the garbage, and we want to see more professionalism in our industry. And MAP is the starting point. It's a place that will lay out the what for you, the foundation to start from. So join us. There's a link there. You'll see it scrolling along the bottom of the screen. We'll put it in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Upscaleyourbusiness.com /5-day map. You see it there.
Map. Yeah.
5-day-map. Sign up, join us, register, come and see what we have to offer. And
just on day one, we have the feedback of people going, wow. In the first 10 minutes, they're like, wow, nobody's ever said that before. Like, I've not heard that. That's a wow. And so just know that you'll be hit with some wows throughout just day one, let alone.
And the opposite of the garbage you're seeing.
Yeah.
This is, if you want reality, if you want warts and all, how to build a business, how to make money from building a proper business, join us for MAP. You won't find anybody else talking about this, because they're trying to take the fast and easy quick buck path to selling you stuff that you don't really need at the wrong time. So I know that's being hypercritical, but I don't mind insulting people, because I'm mad. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. It's just people, selling garbage, and we're on a mission to change that. We're on a mission to upscale the coaching industry by giving people the professional tools that they need and the foundation to build from. So join us for MAP. Hope you can do that. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the inside. We'll also look forward to your comments, your participation in this conversation. Jamie, it's always a pleasure. I really love our chats here that we do every Wednesday. Anything else?
That's it for this week.
That we can.
So we'll see you all next week.
Okay.
Look forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll look forward to it. Anybody that's in MAP this week, we're going to dive into day 3 here in a little while, a couple hours, and day 3 is a zinger. It's a powerful one. Not that they all aren't, but this is where we have the building block, and we're talking about what is a real offer, what is a clear, compelling offer, and that's day 3 of MAP. So there's an irresistible, compelling offer. How do you get to that point? There's some building blocks that need to happen before that, and so we're on day 3, and we're venturing into that territory. So looking forward to seeing you all. If you're already participating in MAP this week, we'll see you in a couple hours. If not, we'll see you on the next one. And when it comes around, look forward to it. And please play in the sandbox with us. Leave your comments. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know any topics you'd like to rap about. We always love participation. So if you bring up a topic, And we'll publish when we're talking about that, then show up and be there ready to chat about it with us, because we want you there. Yeah.
I want to put some caveats to this. I'll let Mark do that. But if you are somebody who thinks you have something really great to share with the coaching community and you want to be a guest on our live here, we would consider it. So I don't know, Mark, do you want to put out any like caveats or like,
Well, my only caveat would be exactly what you see here. Come prepared to speak authentically and honestly, come unscripted, no pitch.
Right.
However, we have no problem with at the end of our of our authentic conversation to share, your link, and we'll do that, in these lives. So you're welcome to do that. We got no problem, doing that. But don't think that this is a pitch fest. That's not what this is. This is about a spontaneous conversation. And honestly, Jamie and I are totally unscripted on this. Fortunately, we've been doing this for a long time, so we've always got lots to say. But yeah, sure, why not? If if you're compelled to get on the stage with us, we'd love to have you join.
If that's you, send us a DM. Don't post it in the comments. Send us a DM. We'll have a conversation about that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay.
All right, everybody.
We'll see you next week, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us, and we appreciate all of you. And here's to professional coaches everywhere.
Yeah. Cheers.
All right.
All right.